So, what if I told you that a world-class AI model just appeared, pretty much out of the blue? No big announcement, no flashy keynote, it just showed up. And what if I told you it's so powerful and so ridiculously efficient that it totally changes the game for everyone overnight? Well, that's not a hypothetical. That's exactly what just happened with DeepSeek V3.1.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at how this thing just dropped out of nowhere. Then, we'll dig into its absolutely insane claims about performance and price. After that, we'll see it in action, check out the secret sauce that makes it all possible, and finally, talk about what this really means for the future of AI.
Let's set the scene. The date is August 19th, 2025. Just another day in the tech world. But behind the scenes, something was happening in the AI community that nobody was really paying attention to. Yet,
In this quote, man, it just nails the feeling that rippled through the community. It's like one day, everything's business as usual. The next day, a new heavyweight champion just walks into the ring, completely unannounced, and almost nobody saw it coming.
yeah, so it all kicked off on August 19th. The model just appeared on Hugging Face, which is the go-to place for AI folks. The only announcement was a quick post in a private WeChat group, but it didn't take long. Within a few hours, the experts, the people who really knew what they were looking at, well, they started freaking out. And that's what's so wild, right? We're used to these massive tech launches with big keynotes, press releases, all this polished PR. DeepSeek? Nope. They just dropped it on the internet and basically said, here you go, community, have at it. A totally different playbook. So it arrived quietly, but the claims it made? Oh, they were loud. We're talking two massive, jaw-dropping claims, one about its elite-level performance and the other about its absolutely bonkers price. Okay, first up, performance. This thing is an absolute beast when it comes to the hard stuff, like math and coding. It didn't just compete on a major multi-language coding test. It crushed it, proving it can hang with the absolute top dogs out there. But then you get to the second claim. And honestly, this might be the real revolution here. We're talking about cost. It's not just a little cheaper. We are talking an insane 68 times cheaper to use for certain complex tasks than the big competitors. Let's put that into perspective, because that number is nuts. Imagine a complex task that costs you, say, $70 to run on another major platform. With DeepSeek V3.1, that same task costs you $1. One. That is not just an improvement. That completely rewrites the economics of AI. And if that wasn't enough, it has a massive memory. A 128,000 token context window basically means you can hand it an entire book or a huge pile of computer code, and it can read and understand the entire thing all at once. Okay, so the numbers are impressive, right? The price is incredible. But, benchmarks aren't everything. The real question is, how does it hold up in the wild? Can it actually build something complex and creative? Well, let's find out. So one researcher decided to throw a pretty wild challenge at it. The task? Hey AI, build me a 3D first-person video game from the ground up. And the game had this kind of hilarious concept, Steve's PC Repair. So it spits out the first version. And, okay, it was a good first try, but it was kind of broken. The controls were all wonky, stuff didn't work right. But here is the amazing part. The researcher didn't touch the code. They just copied the broken mess, handed it back to the AI, and basically said, this is busted, you fix it. And it did! It actually figured out its own mistakes and generated a new version that worked. I mean, really worked. It fixed the movement, added a system for switching tools, and even made it so the computers changed color when you fix them. That's not just writing code. That's problem solving. That's iteration. So you see something like that performing at that level for that cheap, and you have to ask, right? How? How is this even possible? What's the secret sauce? What's going on under the hood? Well, a big part of the answer seems to be an architecture called Mixture of Experts, or MOE. The best way to think about it is like a giant company. When you have a legal question, you don't call an all-hands meeting with the entire company, right? No, you go straight to the legal department. MOE does the same thing. It has a bunch of specialized submodels, these experts, and it only activates the ones it needs for your specific question. It is wildly more efficient. But that might not be the whole story. People in the community are speculating there's something else going on, that this is a new kind of hybrid model. The idea is that it's taken what used to be separate models, one for fast chatting, another for deep thinking, and merged them into one seamless system. And the clue, the little piece of evidence that has everyone talking, is super subtle.
It's just a tiny change on a button in their interface. There used to be a DeepSeek button that had this little R1 tag on it, hinting it was a separate reasoning model. Now, the tag's gone. And that little change could mean everything.
Okay, so let's zoom out, because this is bigger than just one cool new piece of tech. The arrival of DeepSeek V3.1. It really feels like a turning point, a major shift in where the entire field of AI is headed.
What this new, super efficient approach does is it puts incredible power into the hands of way more people. Think about it. Individual developers, small startups, businesses, they can now afford to build things that maybe just a month ago would have been impossibly expensive. This could unleash a whole new wave of innovation.
You know, for the longest time, the AI race was all about size, brute force, who could build the biggest model with the most parameters. But DeepSeek V3.1 is basically saying, hey, maybe that's not the only way to win. Maybe the future isn't about being the biggest, but about being the smartest.
So yeah, the game has changed. It's not just a horsepower race anymore, it's about smart efficiency. The barrier to entry for building truly powerful AI applications has just been smashed to pieces, which leaves us all with one really exciting question. What are you going to build?